stand up to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, do roll call.
Yeah, roll call here. Okay, Fox,
Present.
C. Hoeksma,
Here.
L. Hoeksma,
Here.
Kenyon,
Here.
Kirk,
Here.
Kruse,
Here.
Corbett,
Here.
Reis present, Wiess,
Here.
Young,
She's absent, excused.
and Zelenak.
Here.
One absent.
Okay. And approval agenda of July 9th, 2014 is presented. I see that the date is wrong at the top. And that should be July 9th,
I'm coming in.
Wednesday, July 9th.
I don't know if we need to put this on the agenda, but two notes that I have is one, appointing a new treasurer, and filling the empty seat left by Mark.
Should we add that to the agenda this time, or we have a lot of other stuff to discuss this time? Can this wait one more meeting and discuss this downtown development plan? We'll put it on the agenda, and then we can decide at that point. Put it under new business, just under treasurer appointment / appointment. Any other amendments to the agenda? I move that we accept the agenda as amended.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Should have the minutes. June 5th, 2014. I make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment?
Oh, yeah, I just have, I don't know whose decision this was for the flowers, but thank you whoever finally got them done. But I do have one other question is, there's one pot in front of the old library that hasn't been filled, and I'm just wondering, why?
It may have been missed. We have a new person doing it this year.
Okay,
And we're new to doing it as well.
okay.
That's
Because
right.
it really should be done, otherwise pull it, because it looks strange,
Okay.
just to have it empty.
Well, we should probably put some flowers in it.
Yeah, it would look better if it, so,
The front of the library?
yeah, it's in front of the library, there's two of them there, and there's one that has nothing in it.
Front of the basement.
Oh, the Masonic Hall.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I
The
thought you
old
meant
library.
library. Okay.
Old library.
Oh, okay.
The Masonic
I
Hall.
was trying to place it in front of the public
I'm
library.
Yeah, no, old
Playing
library.
around, it's almost as tall as it, she probably would just soon have it out, but I don't know. We can ask.
We could look at it.
I mean, it's right in, it's in the area where there's already flowers planted in
Yep.
the ground, so if you just wanna pull it, that would be fine, but it just needs to be one or the other. It just looks kind of strange. So,
All right.
and then I had a question about this is the first time I've been to one of your meetings, and you've probably, I don't know if all of you look at the soapbox section on on Facebook or not, but I saw someone put something there about the open space, and that there was supposed to be a stage built there.
There's some plans to do that.
Why are we putting a stage there?
it was one of the ideas to help draw people downtown.
Do you really think that's a possibility?
Yeah.
I mean, truly?
Yeah.
No, I don't. You know, it just seems, for one, the area, how far back are you going? That's not a very big area. How far back are you going?
I'm the one in charge of getting music, and the first, we're having music at the Masonic Lodge. In the first trip, we had 17 people. The second month, we had 27 people. So every month, it's growing and bringing people in town. And
But where are they going to, they're gonna stand out in the road? I mean, that's why I wonder, how far back are you going?
We're taking
That
it
area.
all the way back to,
The alley.
we're moving the fence back, so there's a nice little spot there. And we're not talking bringing in Def Leppard or anything
Oh,
like that.
right. I figured you were doing something like an Alton
Just,
stroll or
just a
something.
nice little spot where a little band can play and people can, you know, hang
Socialize.
out. We sure don't, you know, we don't expect there to be 500 people pouring into the streets.
Right.
Although that would be kind of cool, but it's just a little spot for things to happen.
So are you gonna put benches in there too as well?
eventually,
Or people bring their lawn chairs and, you know.
So when do you foresee all of that getting done? I mean, we're getting
We're working
into
on
the,
that, and it may not be for the
Because
full
it's a
summer.
lot of volunteer labor and volunteers working to
yeah, I
accomplish this.
saw that
So,
the trades build, or class was going to build it.
but they didn't have, they ran
Timing
out of
school
time.
let out.
Yeah,
the
so,
weather really was against us, and nothing was working with us this year.
and when you're dealing with volunteers, you kind of have to go with
Right.
their
We
kind
need
of schedule.
volunteers.
So this would be like for, like, all the other places are having, you have it just one night a week?
Yeah,
Once a week,
but it's
Once a week.
available.
maybe once a month, whatever, but.
Or so
I
they want to
prefer
use
once a
it.
week.
It's kind of as needed.
Okay. But you already have the building materials. Is that what I read correctly? Building materials have been bought?
No,
Nothing's been,
Oh, okay,
we're trying to get it donated.
okay. So that part of the money is not coming out of your budget for
As of
town
right now.
development?
We haven't spent, well, the only money we've spent is on flowers so far.
Yeah, that was a big question too, obviously. You know, there's so many numbers being thrown out there, I'm sure. The confusion is somebody doesn't know and somebody's saying, oh, this has been sent, you know, this has been spent, this hasn't been spent. And that's one of the reasons I'm here tonight, to try and figure out what's true and what's not
I
true.
wouldn't believe anything you read on the soapbox.
Well, if I'm right on the soapbox, you can believe me.
There was a real clear post on the village council page, exactly what was spent, how much was approved, and if people choose not to believe it, that's their choice, but facts are facts. So I
Well,
don't
if
debate
you've only
facts.
spent it on- If you've only spent for flowers, then you haven't spent $8,000,
No.
correct?
Oh, my gosh, no.
Absolutely not.
Can we
But there's a
verify
lot of
who is
20,000.
posting on the village? Is that Rachel or you or
It
who
was
is?
posted by the Central Lake Village Council. That's what the page is.
No, but I mean,
We act
who
as
was
a
the
village
person that
council.
wrote
We
the
act as a
post to
village
explain?
We act as a village council. We post a voice from the village council.
Well, it said I am explaining, so,
I, as in the
I-
village of Central Lake Council.
Why does it matter?
It
because
does.
people have asked me.
No, tell them it's from the Central Lake Village Council.
It's a unanimous voice.
Yeah, we speak
So can
on
you,
consensus.
we're here tonight for instance, me, who've been reading all those things that aren't obviously correct. What have you been authorized for and what have you spent?
we talked about this the other day. Ken, you explained it.
The post was very plain and simple. There was a budget passed of $4,050 for development, $1,500 for entertainment and open space, $725 for signage, shelving, and miscellaneous supplies in the farmer's market, $1,000 for downtown flower area, and $725 for advertising, for a total approved budget of $8,000.
And that's what you haven't spent that.
No, they
No.
spent
We've been approved to do it. We
That's what I was
figure out
asking,
how to do it
what
now.
you've spent so far.
$1,200
You've only
flowers.
spent the flowers,
Flowers.
Yes.
okay.
You spent $1,200 on flowers?
Yes.
No.
That's a lot of money on
The
flowers.
downtown flower areas, the maintenance, the weeding,
The labor,
the flower beds, all the flowers in the
So you
downtown
have
area.
somebody that's not volunteering their work?
No, not for the
You have somebody
flowers.
you're paying?
The village
to
has
do that.
has handled that responsibility in the past, but because the downtown district is the responsibility of the Downtown Development Authority, the village passed that responsibility on to us. I don't know what the village has spent on flower maintenance, but, you know, having somebody come in to keep them looking good and to, you know, replace them and take care of them, over the course of the season, we have approved a budget of $1,200
Okay.
from May till the end of October.
So that's for the maintenance, and then on top of that, you have flower costs, or is that
No,
including the
that's-
flower?
that's
costs?
total,
That's
total.
including everything.
$1,200 is what was
Well, there was another 500 approved last month.
1,200.
To- Right. So it hadn't been spent, but it's been approved to.
So 1,500 for
No,
flowers,
no, $1,000 was budgeted for the 12.
and he just said 500.
1,200 has been spent, so they're over budget now. I
We'll have
expect
to
to
amend
probably
the
will budget more because there's gonna be another bill coming in for planting the flower pots. I can tell you, at the end of most years, the village spent about $3,000 between supplies and labor. So, if it goes to 2,000, I'm not gonna be surprised. We'll amend the budget to reflect that.
But so the village has nothing to do with the flowers at all now, it's the-
Not in the
But
downtown
see,
area.
the DDA is like underneath the village, like we're, like, the village has to approve everything that we approve.
Approved the budget,
So,
not approved the budget.
so we're not separate from the village at all, we're an entity that has to have the village approval before we can do anything.
but you have up to 20,000 you can spend.
No, 8.
You know?
Where does this 20,000?
The village had formed a DDA fund. The
Okay,
village allocated $20,000 into that DDA fund for the DDA.
whatever they need to do or
Whatever
handle.
budget is approved.
So there's money to approve their budgets with. So far, they've approved an $8,000 budget. The village never spends all the money in their funds. Trust me, we'd be broke. So,
And a lot of the 20,000, there's also, there's some ideas floating out there like an ice skating rink in the winter and that kind of stuff. And
Well, I think the problem is it's been 3 months and people haven't seen that 20,000 or 8,000 and they haven't seen any real change downtown. They probably don't realize about the flowers being DDA, probably think the village is still doing that maybe.
Yeah.
But my question, now, back to the flowers, it's not a big deal, but I'm thinking the lamp post, are you gonna hang baskets from there? Because I know they have a drip system.
They haven't done it in previous years, that's not in the budget for
That's
this
not, you're
year.
not gonna mess with that,
the
okay?
reason why is because everybody maintaining the flowers said they couldn't keep them on. The sun baked them, even with the irrigation. They
I
said the
saw a
sun just,
couple,
they looked
yeah.
bad. And I think for 2 years, the village tried it, and everybody that tried it said it's just, they suggested don't do it, put fake ones in or stop because the sun just,
Well, I'm not a flower person, I talked to a couple of ladies today, and they said, yeah, you can plant these geraniums or something, I don't know what, they said.
they said, we tried for 2 years.
So I don't
people to
know.
do- You know what I'm saying? That's why they stopped doing that, because they couldn't be kept looking like something the village wanted hanging on their flowers.
And I want to go back to that open space for a minute, is that, private property or village property?
Something else, Michelle Boxes.
So will there be any, permanent capital improvements to that the taxpayer will pay for?
I'm leasing it to the village.
Oh, like a yearly lease or something?
So whatever improvements are done, you benefit.
So it wouldn't be like painting, if you paint the walls or put a permanent structure there, you're improving a private property.
There won't be any permanent structures.
There won't be any permanent structures.
Everything we do will be
Yeah.
removable.
But and the lease is for how much?
$1.
We
$1.
bargained it down.
That might be too expensive.
Well, I understand, but, you know.
No, because there isn't any open space in the town.
And
so.
certainly, you know, any ideas you would have for making the downtown area look more attractive, we've been meeting for over a year, and we would love the input.
Well, in that year, what have you come up with?
Lots
That's
of
why,
ideas.
you know, that's another thing, if people are wondering again, okay.
We've got lots of time, lots of minutes out there, there's a whole list of things, we can go over it now at this meeting, but
Yeah,
we need to.
we
with the-
offline discussion to catch maybe if you guys haven't been following what the actual board's been talking about going over. Because some of the stuff we've covered
Is there,
from the
it's
start.
online?
Yeah.
Oh, good,
and the-
okay.
and
All
the-
previous ones are online?
Yeah, and
Yes.
she's also got it posted on Facebook.
Well, I've been online and looked at the minutes, but I also noticed that the contact us, if you have questions, is not operable.
Well, I was unaware of that, so we can fix it,
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
you're the email, but then there's no finger pointing to it that makes it, operable, it's just dead.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll look at that. I've received emails on that account, so I don't know if
Last
it's,
couple of days.
Is his address on there?
his email address is
And
his
so I
contact
couldn't
us.
just send them an email address that difficult to figure out? Or?
Pardon me?
Links
Is that
busted.
difficult?
No, but we're just thinking if for people who aren't on there and don't use it enough, if you're supposed to be able to point to him and get to him.
Well, it's not that hard, it's just that if he has contact us, we think the contact us would be optimal.
It's not just to me, it's to the board.
Well, so whoever,
Yeah,
you're the,
yeah.
I think it's your name, I don't know, I can't remember.
Okay, so I
No,
don't-
it should be DDA@centralakeMI.org. That's who it should be. All
I
right.
just want to clarify real quick. Tom mentioned that last month we approved $500 more for flowers,
Uh-huh.
and I don't see that in the last set of minutes.
And you can't do that.
I think we talked
All
about it.
budget has to go through the village council. And you can do it, but then it should have went to the village council for approval.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that's what I'm saying, just so we understand that.
And we haven't did it yet.
Okay, that's what okay, no, because I think I told Cory, since it's over
We
now,
haven't
at some point we do have to amend the budget.
Maybe we just talked about it. I thought that was added at last.
I'm just saying, just so we
Yeah,
all,
but we
just so we all know, we asked the council to.
Yes.
So was there a motion to approve the 500, or it was just discussion?
We,
I think it was just discussion.
I think it was just discussion, otherwise it'd be in the minutes that we approved.
Just real quickly too, like Ken said, it was $3,000 average expenditures for the flowers. We're getting our feet wet, you know, we're babies learning the DDA, so we're taking baby steps. So I presume that you came in here thinking, boom, there was this big explosion of money spent, which we haven't done. So right now, for example, on the flowers, we're under what the village has spent in the past. So we're being conservative, but we're also learning our roles in the community as for business people and people on board for the DDA. So,
We're also getting some of the businesses in town, they're donating flowers and putting up their own flowers, like in front of Brothers, in front of
Right.
Adams, in the corner.
I think when we agreed on the flowers, we were hoping we would get somebody to volunteer to take care of it. Once that, realized that wasn't gonna be a reality, somebody had to be paid to truly do it, the cost would go up. But I think that was expected if the volunteers didn't work out.
Well, I
and
think it-
also on the flowers, they had to tear out, we had to tear out like the pampas grass. And so it's quite a changeover, but yet we're still being very conservative at it.
Is that spring start up, you know, from the winter and all that, I think she had to go in and.
Cut everything down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last year, I think they done in the fall and
I
covered
think
down.
they look great myself, for $1,200 spent, I think they look great.
Some of the best looking flowers
I
we've had.
think the area looks real nice.
I think you guys have done it in a huge savings compared to previous years
far.
and done well with
That's
it.
not, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Well, I think any money you spend, it would be nice if it was on the minutes, so there's that lessens the confusion if they're on the official DDA minutes. I don't see any here now, maybe there wasn't any money spent last meeting. Well, the 500 you're talking about, maybe it was discussed.
It was discussed, it wasn't.
But looking at the previous minutes, I saw just once for some travel, I think, some money.
Well, because that goes back to a couple months ago when the budget was approved.
But anyway, my point is, when people look at that, when we look at it, or other people, it'd be nice to have the numbers there, like the council does. When they vote on a money thing, it's right there how much they spend.
Well, thank you for your input. We'll
We
we'll see what we can do.
I guess you could put in your approval of bills, the bills that you're gonna pass on.
Approve the bills?
Yeah, that's-
So $200 on flowers is there, then we have it in our notes too, and we say, okay, that's what we
That is-
approve that bill, we pass it on to the village.
Who pays the bill finally, the council?
Yeah, that's
The
why.
village,
The
bill
bill
fine
goes back
goes
to the
through the
council.
village, but when they approve that bill, the village pays it, because it's in their budget. So if they spend $1,000 on flowers and the DDA approves, the way I see it, the DDA approves that.
They write
say
the
it's a
check.
legit bill.
Yep.
They give it to Rachel, who truly writes the check.
I
You
don't-
should be able to
All
follow.
right, we're gonna close, or move on to public comment, and we're limited to 3 minutes, so we can continue on with everything. If you have questions, maybe approach us afterwards and we can discuss. Is there any other public comment?
Yeah, I did. I take exception to Ms. Fox saying one should not believe the soapbox. As the administrator of the soapbox, right now, if you take a look at it, you'll see a lot of people that are confused about what's going on with the DDA. You should absolutely believe that, because as you're going over here, a lot of people here don't know exactly how much is being spent on flowers or what's in the budget. If you look at the village website, you'll see two different sets of numbers for budgets for the DDA, in the line item and the other budget. The DDA page does not have minutes for the past 2 months. So people are confused out there, and when they're not being communicated to, they'll go to the soapbox and they're gonna talk, and that's something you guys should be listening to.
Well, part of it is we didn't meet, that's why I didn't see the minutes, because we all are volunteers and we
Right,
have
yeah.
like a set meeting.
Yeah, that's
What we
understandable.
try and do is whenever we're able to put it together as far as the appropriate time, since none of us are.
Yeah, but minutes should go
Yeah,
right up pretty quick.
Well, it wasn't a meeting, so it's a little hard to do the minutes.
Yeah,
You
well,
see it for 6 weeks, right?
there was that 2-hour, 40-minute meeting that I attended at the minute store. Well, I looked, what, a day or two ago, and they weren't up there still. That was 2 or 3 months ago now, so.
Joe, your village finance, are there two different sets of numbers in our village budget for the DDA? It's a $20,000 budget. correct?
In our, to correct that, in our particular budget, no, there was one set of numbers. But when the DDA first approached the village, they had what I would call a line item of their own.
Two separate budgets.
Well, unfortunately with theirs, when they worded things, they were slightly different. As everybody knows, there's no salaries included into the DDA or for you guys. Their budget showed them. We reworded that when we created the budget that wasn't salaries. So I think if you truly look, you could find two different things, but in the essence, they both mean the same thing.
We created a budget for a DDA fund of $20,000 based on what we thought expenditures by the DDA would be.
Correct.
Total $20,000. The DDA brought us a budget asking for $8,000. They're two entirely separate.
In them, you're correct, yes.
And to say, Brad, I'll just come out and say, to say we should believe what's on your soapbox page, the reason all this controversy got started was because for months you kept telling people that the DDA had $20,000 of taxpayer money to spend. Now, that was an absolute not factual statement. You knew it, you've been at the meetings, you knew their budget was approved for $8,000, and you chose to put that on soapbox. So my personal opinion is, I don't believe a bit of it, it's a gossip column, and I don't appreciate the fact that you stir up controversy within the village and point fingers at the DDA and the village council putting out things that are not factual.
I don't care, Ken, because we
Good,
say
then
what
we're
we
moving
want.
on.
I
Let's-
said you have
let's move
$20,000 in the budget, you have $20,000 in the budget. Anything the DDA says that goes to the council's gonna approve.
Brad, let's move on. Thank you.
Brad, once again, so it's on tape, that's an absolute not factual statement, okay? Point blank, not true.
Any other public comment? I'm gonna close the public comment session. I got some correspondence though. Actually with Mark Douglas. I corresponded and talked to him in person, and if you wanna come up and tell us what your idea is and what, what you've got going on.
Well, like I was talking to Cory before about, go to a lot of these motorcycle events. Went to one in Cadillac over the weekend, was on one in Mashpee a couple weeks ago. Cadillac had Thunder on the Lake Shore, they called it. Big event, they started 3 years ago. It's just it's a three and a half hour gig for down on the lake shore, like they have it like Thurston Park, of course, it's a bigger town, I understand that. They had like 2,000 people show up, I think. I'm not sure exact numbers, I heard more than that, but I'm guessing from what I've seen. I was talking to Cory about it, these guys I talked to I met guys from Southgate, I met guys, I had riders up from, that I was touring with from Clarkston and Troy. These guys are all going, when I said I live in Central Lake, most of them go, huh? Where's that? Then I tell them where it's at, and they go, oh, that's the best riding around. We ride up there through East Jordan and through all the, the whole field. Last Cory kind of agreed with me, maybe we should have something like that here. He was saying on Labor Day weekend, right?
Yeah, we did.
Is that a group that you belong to?
No, I don't want to. I'm just kind of.
He wants to have an event.
Now, is there, now who threw the event?
It kind of started as a guy, Brian, I can't remember his last name right now, I got it at home. I talked to him, I sat and talked to him for about an hour down there. He started 5 years ago, he said. He had this idea to have, family-friendly motorcycle deal. There's no drinking, there's no, they had a band playing. I don't know if that was even needed. Nobody was paying attention to it. He said the first year he had it was a flop. And he said, just expect it. You know, the first year, we got 12 show bikes here, we probably had 100 people. This year, it was his third year, it was awesome.
What kind of numbers?
I was guessing around 2,000. Of course, they're saying more than that, but that is Cadillac. I understand that, it's a bigger town, and it's in a more central area. And everybody I'm talking to down there, they go, oh yeah, we go up through there, we go up 31 to ride Tunnel of Trees, Mackinac. I watch them, they go up 31. I take these guys touring on the back roads, because I know the back roads up here. They like it a lot better, but these other people don't know to get off. They don't know our area.
So you're talking about having an event, some sort of event to
Get them to recognize Central Lake.
get them to recognize Central Lake, be in Central Lake, maybe like a motorcycle show / tour / something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't even know about a tour. I mean, like what this guy did, he didn't put a tour. There wasn't a ride.
Right,
It was just people coming together and
just a meet.
Well, they had different areas that they suggested going on in different directions from here. So you have a 2 or 3 or 4 hour ride
no swap.
and then back in Central Lake.
Yeah, that's what they, that's what we did after that. I went to McBain and over to the Vogel Center and other guys are going, yeah, we're heading up to the tunnel and it
So
was
what
a
you do
beautiful
is just
thing.
use Central Lake as a focal point and then go out from there in different days for different ways.
Or they just, like I said, they just had, it was a 3.5 hour deal, but it drew in people. And he's telling me, the first year he did it, you didn't bring that
I didn't bring the pamphlet with me, I showed it to a few of them.
Okay, they gave me a pamphlet. He said the first year, the tourism board or whatever it's called down there, said, finally said, okay, 1,500 of them, we'll do you 1,500
Brochures.
brochures. And they're those little fold up, they put them in like Big Boy or whatever. He said this year they're at 30,000 or 50,000 and looking for more. That's what it's turned into. At least now Cadillac has turned into like a place where people are going. And we have nothing like that up here. And we have better riding.
This might be something to think about for the fall, the color tour and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're looking at something possibly after the, even as an individual, as a Blue Pelican, we looked at the only week open up here, when you look at all the events all around, is the week after Rubber Ducky. That something else isn't going on that would conflict with it.
In another town, you mean? There's always something going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, but that's about the least amount of.
What's Rubber Ducky's the second?
Yeah. Well,
13th,
the
I
reason
think.
a lot of people don't do it the third is because a lot of kids are
Going
going
back to
back for
school.
sports and stuff. But the biggest problem we've always had with the car show, because I've been involved with that from just about the beginning, it's great for the town for that period of time, and almost like the 4th of July thing, it's great, and then everybody just leaves, And the problem is we don't have accommodations. So who it benefited more than anything else was Bel Air when we had the car show, because they all stayed there.
It's true.
A lot of places though, what they do is, in small towns like this, which would take more community participation, which is the hardest thing we have, because even the car show, we can get 4 volunteers if we're lucky. Or half a dozen, I think, maybe. Because a lot of people talk about it, want to become volunteers. And the issue is, how can we, open it up, to Mortensen's cottages and that kind of stuff. We have to have more places for accommodations, or people who want to give up their
That's
houses.
kind of a chicken or egg problem though, because you're not gonna have accommodations until you've got the business coming to town.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna have business coming to town until you have the
Well, I'm
accommodations.
saying is, because we're it's kind of unfriendly, let's say for even tourists, a lot of people don't rent their houses by the week or the whatever. Right? Which might be something that we can try and see if we can get other people to participate in it, and then try the event. Because we like to keep them in town if we can get them here. It's a shame that they all go to Bel Air and stay there.
Well, and this is kind of more of a ride thing too, so they're gonna
Oh,
be here for the
yeah, they're here
afternoon.
for the weekend.
It's almost like you're selling like what they did was almost like selling a lunch stop in a way. I mean, that's what they had. They had the food vendors. And
And we seem to have, I don't know what it is, even the 4th of July, did you see how everybody, same thing, we had all things down, in front. In other words, I let everybody stay all over the front lawn, let them put all the vendors, people or competitors, it didn't matter. I just said, okay, the more the merrier, we're gonna get more people to stay in town, and poof, they all just left.
They all came to the school, to the dunk tank.
Well, I think for one, we should, maybe, is there any way we can help to support you and at least your efforts in doing this? I mean, is there, you know, looking for volunteers and people to help out?
Are you interested in being the head with Bear?
Yes.
All right, and so, I think we should look at helping him out in any way possible.
Yeah, we
One
can
more
give you
event.
our card list and everything else, because we have a big, I have a blast. I got like 1,800 people on my email for the Pelican. I'll be glad to share those lists with you.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody else has got some email lists and stuff like that that we can.
You were looking at doing a Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, I'm open.
Okay.
Like I said, that week is the only one that before everybody really gets going back. And Labor Day, the kids are back to school and the parents and even grandparents are kind of involved.
Well, this may be something for a different
Yeah,
crowd too, that
bikers
people
are
that don't have.
People
their
on
kids with them.
motorcycles, they're
Seems like
traveling, they don't
people that are
care.
doing this are more adults.
Doesn't matter about their
Bunch
kids.
of old gnarly bikers, is that what you're
No, they're urban bikers.
I think you'd be really surprised the demographic of.
Well, yeah, no, they're all even older. It's not a biker anymore. It's people with expendable cash.
Yep, and it's changed.
It doesn't matter if they have kids or not,
Well,
they'll
that's
do it.
where the
Mom
local.
and dad wanted to get away and go do something for their.
Yeah, because the car show was also a bike
Let's talk
thing.
about it for a
And, even Joel did it, and it was, as much as he
minute. I'm
marketed
gonna tell you a
and spent a lot
story
of
after
money.
this.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be a half hour long?
No, it'll be very short.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
But this is, I think.
So what I'm saying is, but we, yeah, and here's the other thing, if Cadillac would be nice.
No, this is
Right,
a ride.
yeah,
It's at a hub.
let's-
Stop on the
let's
ride,
show
everybody
ride.
and then
Here's some list.
I guess
Boynton City actually does one.
I'd like to help him out with some,
Actually,
maybe help sponsor this and have my insurance covered under our insurance.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, ask if you wouldn't
And this
mind
could
sharing.
alleviate any cost to him.
It's list.
Would that be possible?
There's like 4 different Facebook books on Michigan motorcycle things, and I have one of them. And he said that's where he did that and, one magazine that he, threw an ad in. He said that's pretty much, and everything's word of mouth, because that's what bikers are, is word of mouth. Once, you know.
No, we got plenty of local guys.
I guess my question would be, is there a bad weekend? Is there a weekend that doesn't work? I mean,
A
maybe
rainy
Mark goes
weekend.
back and sees what he can put together based on
I'd say,
Just take your
what
best
works
shot.
for them, because we're willing to work with it, right?
I think so too.
So he goes back and works with his group or whatever, comes and says, hey, here's what we'd like.
I do want to say something, I don't know if this means anything. The one that's coming here tonight, I got on 5 different, websites. Look at, tell you what bike events are coming up in the state. 0 for Labor Day weekend. I'm thinking, why?
Wow.
Why is that? What do they know that I don't?
Yeah, yeah, maybe they tried and it doesn't work, you know, so I'd ask the same thing. Maybe it's a bad weekend.
And I said that about Cadillac, why would they do it on the 4th of July weekend? When everybody's got family stuff and it worked. So I don't know. There's one car show in a place called Canadian Lake.
I think it's worth a try. I guess I would make a motion that we support Mark and maybe sponsor his event to help cover the, insurance, for insurance reasons. At the very least, that way you don't have to worry about purchasing additional insurance for an event inside the village.
But it's less of an event and more of like a ride-in. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
like,
Unless there's 200 people here at a time, does he need to do an event permit?
That's
You know, if it's
just,
5 people coming in and leaving and going, is it technically an event?
It's a 2-minute formality.
What are they calling the one in Cadillac?
Thunder on the Lake Shore.
Okay, so you do have to have a theme.
You have to have a tagline.
Right, and it would be nice if it had something that somehow points for something like.
what were the heart of the chain of
Channel
lights?
Lakes.
And the other thing, well, even,
I was trying, I'm sorry.
now even the chamber has an insurance policy to cover events like that. Already in place, and the premium's already been paid, so I don't think it's, that's even
Board
expensive.
of
Yeah, so it should change.
We as a board representative work with
Insurance
it.
is all taken care of now.
Would you be willing to, would you be willing to work with him then to develop it as a board member?
Oh,
Give time.
You're wearing your thunder on the what?
This is from Kansas, Orion,
Yeah.
it's out there.
I got a moped.
Huh?
I can't make a decision tonight, but I'd be glad to discuss it with you, but I don't wanna commit.
Yeah, and I wanna put stuff out there just to feelers to see if people are even, you hate to do it, he said his first week, first year he did, he said, I don't wanna cry.
I think a lot of
You
people
get a lot of
first year,
locals that-
then you keep doing it, and the word catches on.
Two right here.
That was good, do it again.
Absolutely.
And
I know, I think Vermontville downstate has the maple syrup, something. Vermontville, am I saying it right? And that's kind of the first biker ride that I know of, I think it's in April or like mid-April, late April.
And Chicago ride.
And they've been doing it for quite a few years, but the same thing, they take baby steps to get to squirrel.
Well, let's do this, I make a motion that we support Mark and help sponsor his event and see what we can do to make things happen.
Support in what way? Like up to a certain dollar amount, or what kind of time, and what, let's be specific on what support is.
Supporting
You know,
any way
pat his
that's
back,
feasible.
say good job, or give him money.
Any way that's feasible for us.
Well, I think as it develops, he'll come back and let us know what he needs, and at that point, we'll decide what we can do.
we can't come up with any money figures yet, so.
Oh, we
Yeah, no, he's not asking for that.
It's not support.
So I vote that we support him and help sponsor his efforts downtown and maybe have him so he's covered under the insurance and that's one less thing he has to worry about. So I make that motion. I got a second from Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. We'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's correspondence. That was the correspondence I had as of earlier. We have no committee reports as of right now. And we'll move on to old business, downtown development plan. Yay, Michelle graciously
I have a report.
has a report of what information that she looked at.
From my understanding, a downtown development authority charge is not as a planning, fun events, blah, blah, blah. My understanding is that a downtown development authority transforms the center of the community in a sustainable way that doesn't rely on the same bunch of people to come in and do whatever. My understanding is that a downtown development authority's job is to revitalize community by bringing in resources to improve, maintain, restore infrastructure and appearance of the downtown. And it's under that assumption that I conducted research. I believe that from all of the educational, the guest speakers, all the people from the state, all the people from the downtown, Michigan Downtown Main Street program, from all of our training, I believe that we're here for more than planting flowers. Okay, so I also believe that we need to continue in the right direction, and I am concerned that that our job as a downtown development authority is going to be hindered by miscommunications and misunderstandings. And so this recommendation that I give you tonight for the downtown development plan and the TIF plan, in accepting a proposal from one of the three that responded to our request for proposals, is based on the fact that as an organization, we need to be impeccable in our decisions, in our communication, and in moving forward in a way that will be sustained long after we are not here, after our terms are up and we've stepped down and other volunteers have taken our place. We had 3 proposals for a downtown development plan and for a TIF plan. And I need to stand up for this. The 3 proposals, and we've examined these in previous meetings, and this is not a decision that we take lightly. We had a 2-pager from Johnson Hill. We had a big old pager from McKenna, and a big one from Beckett and Rader. Wade Trim declined our proposal because, I believe, because we're small. And so we looked at these proposals, and the last meeting you asked me to do an apples to apples comparison. And so in doing that, I called references of other towns that are similar to ours in needing a downtown development plan and a TIF plan. And got input from DDA members, village presidents, DDA presidents, and actually the, excuse me, where is that? The director from the Michigan Association of Plan. Because we had some questions at our last meeting as far as a certified boundary survey. Is that required? That was one line of, and I apologize if this report takes too long, but I want to be sure that we all understand everything. The certified boundary survey was recommended by 2 of the firms that submitted proposals. And according to the Michigan Association of Planning, a certified boundary survey is recommended but not required. And so I did some research because they said that any certified boundary survey would be good. So I checked with our county clerk, no record of it. I checked with our register of deeds, no record of it. I checked with the equalization department, there's never been a certified boundary survey done. And so they suggested I go to the company that does that in hopes that if they had records from the past, they would still have records of our survey had we ever had one done. And I had contacted Ferguson Chamberlain, who has the records from Lennox, which was the pretty much the only game in town back in the day when all of the towns were doing their federal grant downtown, beautification thing like we've done. And so they found our file. And our file, we never had the survey done, but we estimated, they called it counting telephone poles, by counting telephone poles. And so we have not had that done. The cost of a certified boundary survey is $12,000 ballpark. And the reason that a survey of this nature would be desirable is because when you were talking about tax increment financing, the boundaries are important. So that was one line of research. The second is when I contacted the various companies that submitted proposals and asked them, do we have to have a certified boundary survey? And the only one that said we do not is McKenna, which it happens to be the company with the most experience. They've been in business 36 years. Their employees are well experienced, and he said given their experience their expertise, that they can make a downtown development plan without the certified boundary survey. They would go by the other, like, they would do maps and, well, they would do.
Legal descriptions.
Yeah, legal descriptions.
Did you get a hold of all three companies?
I was unable to reach, I did not speak directly to Johnson Hill, and I'll tell you why. Because they have the least amount of experience with our situation. In fact, there's no evidence in any of their website as I do searches on previous customers. Because what I wanted to do is find customers that are not listed in their, because that's how you find out, anybody can list a good reference, And so what I did find with Johnson Hill Land Ethics Studios, they are quite diversified. They do a wide range of things, and they work with colleges and public schools and private schools and athletic complexes. And I believe that they may be just a little bit too broadly
Well,
spread.
I know the person that they have up here is a person that worked for McKinnon for years and developed all the business up here, and now works for them. So I don't know if McKenna has anybody up here now at all.
They do. They have an office in Traverse City. And the president of McKenna is going to be in town on Friday, he said. So, up to play golf, but, But at any rate, so if we were to go with Johnson Hill or Beckett and Rader, both would request the certified boundary survey at the cost of about $12,000. About. McKenna is not. And
But it's
so
not a requirement by state law.
It's not a requirement by state law.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was not required when they did the streetscape.
Not required. Not required.
But they did do the, right?
That's been done since the DDA was set up.
Oh,
Okay.
Well,
So-
none of them would require that, or is that not true? I mean, if it's not required by law, they have no.
It's not required
right
by
to-
law, but they recommend it because they base whatever they do is based on that. I mean, it's both of them. It says that this does not cover, that their fee does not cover a certified boundary survey, which they would recommend. Okay, so, and that's what we had wanted to know. That's what I found out. And so, looking at the three proposals, Johnson and Hill was very, very vague in the scope of their services, and you can see in the chart that I emailed. First, let's look at Johnson Hill, okay? The chart that I emailed.
Yep. That's the same one. You can look at it. I looked it over, send it on down.
In my research, I found that they are also a development company. They have bought land, or tried to buy land to develop it, so they are very diversified. Their cost is $11,580, which is they call it a lump sum, and it includes, and this is all they told us, normal expenses associated with the preparation of plans. I took that right from their proposal. Their previous clients don't include any exact matches or even really close for our particular project. Their timeline is 5 months. Our responsibilities are the certified boundary survey, the legal review of the documents, application fees to the state. I call it state, there are no application fees. And the scope of the project, they reference the DDA Act 197 of 1975, but nothing specific, such as hosting or facilitating meetings and, different things like that. So that's Johnson.
Can I say something else for you? Because there's a lot of confusion, and I'm not defending them, I'm glad you did this. I'm just saying, at the time these prices were got, the DDA had no idea whether development land was $2,000 or $47,000. We reached out to companies, and I can honestly tell you, I called these companies, and I said, you know, being in business myself, I know it's a lot of time to put together a bid, a true, good, specific bid. So I said, what we're looking for now is what can we expect the development plan to cost? That's what this is. They would never ask for a specific bid with specific things. So now we know it's somewhere between 12 and 20. What we probably should have done was what, I think Cory did talk to them, they would have sent a very specific bid, is what I'm saying. So let's not fault Johnson Hill for this, because they would have done better had we asked. And what we were looking for was, if it came back, they're all $42,000, we'd have said, no, we're not doing it, so these guys, why waste your time? So that's my little defense for Johnson Hill.
So why did he get such?
In other words, he asked for what they call a request for proposal.
I understand that, and so we got, how did we get a good thing, I mean, a comprehensive proposal from McKenna and a comprehensive proposal from Beckett, and not from the other
Because
company?
for $8,000 more in the price of my bid going in, I can send you a darn nice package. I mean, that's just my thought of it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll be honest with you, we asked for that for these
Done the
two.
work like any.
We did not ask for it for this one. This one was a spare of the moment at the last minute, saying we need this weekend for the meeting.
Okay,
And that's what they supplied, 2 pieces of paper.
I didn't
The
realize.
other two-
That's my, and I'm not,
The
I'm
other
just saying
two were
that's
asked to
maybe
give
why
full-
things look a little
full blown.
different.
Well, I
in the
didn't
proposal
realize
form.
that, and
No.
I guess just like when you get a
Well, it wasn't
resume
fair
or
for
whatever,
you.
I judged it, I
Yeah,
judged the company based on the
No, I-
quality of the proposal.
That's
Um,
what
I
Yeah,
would have
absolutely.
too.
Okay, so now, Beckett, Rader, their primary office is in Ann Arbor, and their bid was for $13,250 to do the development plan and the TIF. And I contacted their references, and the two that I included, the Escanaba city manager said they're top-notch, rehire again, easily accessible. The village president of Dexter said he couldn't recommend them based on multiple issues. One of them was that he felt that Beckett Rader took advantage of their inability to communicate, their Dexter's newness as a DDA and their inability to communicate. And ended up, they were billed for things beyond what the original bid was for. And he felt that they were taken advantage of for being naive. Their timeline is 4 months. The things that the DDA needs to provide are property information, tax records, SEVs, taxable values, provide a base map of the DDA boundary and development area, legal description of the DDA district, certified boundary surveys recommended, meeting attendance and input. And then the scope of their project, at the beginning, they'll get public input and present to all the stakeholders what the purpose of the development plan and the TIF is. And then they would coordinate the new plan and TIF with what's already been completed in studies and plans. They would do a description of existing assets in the development area, and typographical error there, I apologize. Projected private and public redevelopment projects and economic development initiatives. Then they would estimate for us the cost of those initiatives and proposed methods of funding, and then TIF revenue projections. So that's from Beckett and Rader. And then we come to McKenna, whose primary office location is Northville, but both Beckett, Rader, and McKenna have offices in Traverse City, Petoskey. They've got, people all over the state. McKenna's cost is the most expensive, $19,500, invoiced monthly, but based on the percentage of the product completed, the project completed. Claire City Manager would absolutely recommend. The timeline for McKenna is 7 months, but they do more. That's why it's going to take them longer. We would be required as a DDA village to provide the same information as Beckett asked, with the addition of copies of previous studies, maps, ordinances, other data from village county files. They do not require a certified boundary survey. The scope of their project begins with the project initiation, meeting, and research. Develop a citizens council, which is not mentioned in any of the other proposals, a citizens council to get input and to provide input throughout the project. To prepare development plans, maps, targeted areas, priorities, stakeholder workshop for goal setting, so a lot of public input. Prepared a TIF plan, including all the data that's connected to that. Facilitate a people-friendly town hall meeting to make sure everybody understands. Conduct council DDA meetings to plan, to make sure the council and the DDA are in like full collaboration to refine goals and to be sure everybody's communicating effectively. Budget fine-tuning and recommendations. They'll assist us in the approval process, which is attend public hearings, respond to questions, facilitate communication, and post-approval advisory assistance. So after we get going, they will still be there to assist us as we progress. So I used a decision-making rubric because and my decision-making rubric doesn't, I'm just giving you my recommendation based on my decision-making rubric. And what I did was, I gave 3 points in each category to the best of the 3, 2 points for the one that's in the middle, and 1 to be the worst of the 3. But again, now this is kind of irrelevant because I didn't understand that Johnson Hill hadn't been given the opportunity to give us the big package. So the areas that I assessed in the rubric were the cost, which is obviously huge, whether they recommended a survey that would cost us $12,000, their experience with small towns in development plans and TIF plans, the scope of service they provide from start to finish, the reference input, the quality of their proposal, and then I added up those points. And even though McKenna is, only got a 1 because it's the most expensive, I believe that their scope of experience, the service that they provide, and their emphasis on communication. I called and I said, we want to be sure that A, that we do it right, and B, that everybody understands, And he goes, there are lots of villages and small towns that have difficulty in communication. We have been there before, and we know how to help. And so, to me, I think that's very important, and obviously from the comments earlier in this meeting, I think it's even more important. And I looked at their references, the quality of the proposal, and based on that, I would recommend McKenna.
That's very much.
Can I just ask a couple questions?
Not that I would know anything.
Okay. I do names and names and numbers of dollars for the government work, and in my real job. And basically, when I work with school districts and I work with hospitals and federal agencies and that kind of stuff, I'm asked the same thing where, hey, we got this facility and we want to do this, and you tell us everything should go in there, the technology or security or whatever. Right? Now, some people hire consultants, some people hire designers, some people hire engineers, some people hire architects, whatever you want to call them, right? But when you ask a group like this a generalized question, how much is this going to cost us, right? You get varying amounts, and some of them are planning on hide bacon, some of them,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I see, all right.
Okay, so this is where I'm coming from. I think you've given us tons of information as far as what your recommendations are. And I think there should be even a sufficient amount of information here for us to re-ask the same question to the three bidders. Taking the information we have, pick all the things that, like one of the things I would ask now, if I sent it out, was, is this your price not to exceed?
Oh,
Okay.
and I actually did.
Okay, and then the thing is to make it fair to all of them anyhow, right? Is if you come out with something like that, for some reason everybody's price drops, okay? Because before it was an open-ended question, some people say, well, I'm gonna cover everything because I'm gonna cover my ass and I don't want all these problems, right? And another one says, I'm just getting the minimum because that's all they asked for, and then I'll get them for change orders later.
Right.
Okay, and take advantage of them.
Right.
Right. So what I'm saying is I think we could probably take this, put it back out to bid for all three. Still weigh it the way you're saying, which is the proper way to weigh it. I like the way you did it, it's fantastic. But I think we do have enough information to see that, right? And you still weigh it, and they probably still might be the one that you pick. But the only thing is now we ask those couple of the specific things that were left out of even this one, like, A, is this the price not to exceed, and you can guarantee that we'll be satisfied at the end. And this covers how many meetings, and how many of this, and how many of that.
Right.
And we give them the exact timeline, right? We give them all the 9 months, because if you give them 9 months, they're gonna say, well, that means 9 months of meetings, job site meetings, you know what I'm saying? And that's an expense associated with that. In other words, every time I give a price to somebody, when they leave out all this stuff and don't give me a timeline, I have to put some fudge in.
We like to hear that.
To cover myself, right? And sometimes I just lose jobs because of that, because they never gave me all the right information.
Right.
And even though I put out what they call an ARC, request for information, because even when we put this out, if we put it out again, right, they're gonna come up with an RFI and say, did you really mean this? Right, we wanna make sure. But when you say everything must be included, period, and it's your problem if it isn't, okay? You always gotta put it on the bidder, right? People that really know how to do the project, because you're 100% right, we're all novices with this particular thing. But what I found out is every contract like that, they'll even ignore your RFI. Some of them will say, I don't have any questions. Well, if you don't have any questions, that means your price is all inclusive.
But the other thing,
Can I say this before we discuss this any further? Honestly, here's what happened today. I got the gut feeling today, and I think it's a pretty good gut feeling, the council is not going to approve spending money for development. So I said, okay, I mean, all this hard, so I said, okay, if that's off the table, it's off the table. If that's what's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So I went and saw Cory, and I read your email. I cannot believe you did about the same thing that Cory and I did today. We reached out to see what could happen if that was the case. And I think maybe the discussion should turn to, is this something we can do on our own at a lot less cost? I know it's not perfect to start with, but like you found out too, Missy, and stop me if I'm wrong, maybe this is something we should go back to. You know, we printed out the bare bone basics, basically, of a development plan, needed to get a TIF plan. Should we look at, let's say, let's do this, let's get the development plan that I think we can do ourselves. We looked at Harper Springs, which was very, very basic, I wouldn't, but it was one that's follows the state statute.
They actually did.
Could be accepted by it, and our own TIF, we looked into that, can be done. Perfect
And if you
for this, yes, and then as the DDA generates TIF money, then a year from now, maybe we say, okay, now's a good time to spend more.
well, that's exactly what Harvey Springs did.
And start creating money first through the TIF plan, and do some, if we have some projects we wanna do we haven't done, maybe we look at them, or maybe we say, why haven't we got that open space done? We know we wanna do it. Let's do it, let's build some public excitement around that and get some people involved. And
Jan indicated that it could be really simple, really easy. We don't have to do this 500-page document and plan for the next 20 years.
Yep.
It could be them coming over here to work with us, talking with the community, everybody's involved. And then at some point, the NLEA would say, yes, this is good, this is bad, tweak it this way, tweak it that way. And then as TIF money comes in, then we use that money to hire McKenna and go with our long-range plan.
Well, Harbor Springs
Yes,
took and they have a very basic development plan. And then they took and made a vision statement, a vision plan that actually encompasses the details. And they did that at a later date. They created a development plan, it looks like, to set up their TIF to capture that money. And then, as they made the money, like you said, they were able to spend the money on the actual, the vision statement, the vision plan, which included what to do with the defunct buildings and the streetscapes and it was very comprehensive. And it was done by Wade Trim.
Yeah, it went from a 3-page with a map and a legal description, development plan, and about a 3-page tip.
Yep.
To an 85-page visioning plan done by Wade Tripp. But I think they started there, like we're saying, start there, see what happens, get the community involved, build some things, build some interest in the DDA and what we're doing.
We don't need to do
I guess
an elaborate.
if I was to ask,
extensive
what do
program.
you think we will generate off a tip in 1 year? Does anybody have any idea at all? I mean, because it comes down to finances. So what do we think, even with the village market's expansion, how much are we gonna capture in tax dollars? My guess is, it's not gonna be even $6,000.
And as we build on, we come
As it grows, what I'm saying is that's all you can, when they say your development, how are you gonna pay for it? So we say, and we gotta be realistic, no.
I just don't wanna buy
How are you
one.
gonna realistically, so we can do development, how are we realistically gonna pay for the open space? The village market's doing expansion. Maybe, like I said, maybe we should talk about some more public parking and things like that and put together a very simple, cost-free plan at this time. Because I think the community's even looking, like all that commotion about the money, they're looking at, oh my God, how much money
Well,
do
they are
we
paying
have?
attention,
So let's show them
that's a
something,
fact.
and let's be
People are
really
looking.
financially prudent and take baby steps, just like they said with the motorcycle show. You start out very small, baby steps, and let it build.
She thinks that we can have this done by the end of the year if we, pull our
Who does?
heads together. In an email, Randy,
Talk to Jan Kellogg.
yeah, she thinks that we can easily have it done by the end of the year. And it doesn't have to be this monstrous $20,000
I
thing.
actually, I took the liberty of
Look,
taking Harbor Springs.
I agree, it could be done.
And
we can
I
hold our own
changed it
public
to
Well,
hearing. We
she's
don't need to pay a
gotta do the
consultant to
public
come
hearing, so
do
in
public
theory,
hearings.
90 days it could be done.
If we want to have it ahead of time to gain info, we have one.
I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
All right, the information that I was given to do the research on was from April. Why have we taken 4 months to come back around to where we started?
I agree.
Was that we could do this on our own. Why did I waste 2 days of my life, not that I've got a couple days to spare, I don't smoke and I don't drink, so I'm gonna live a long time. But I feel like, okay, you asked me to do something and then at the end of my report I get, well, we know that the council's not gonna approve a development plan. Well, shoot, that would've been good to know a couple months ago.
Well, speaking for myself, Michelle, I just got the email today. I mean, literally, I sent an email to Dan, so it went to his junk, then it got to Jan, and I just talked to Jan today, so I'm sympathetic with you in every fashion. On the other hand, I'm just not savvy with spending
But the last meeting
$19,000.
we had, everybody
That's
was
true.
told that we had to do a survey,
Right.
and that was the
Now, all of a
only
sudden, we
possible
don't.
way to do it.
Right.
So if anything, Michelle, just what Tom said, sometimes you don't jump right into a big puddle, get sloppy wet, but you come out with something, and we definitely appreciate everything.
Well, all the data she's given us, we
So
can
it's not
use.
We can use it at a later time.
Please don't feel
No.
like your efforts were
Oh
in
my
vain.
gosh, no.
They're not in vain,
And
they're
also
just,
what they've done is they've given you a little bit of an outline already. Of what the hot points are and what the things that.
We know we don't need that CBS.
Well, because I think we have what Renee told you they needed a description, Michelle. It's a description of the downtown district, which was done way back, which is
not a certified.
it's not certified, no, but I think that's what they're
It'll
looking for. I mean, it's very, you could draw a map from it,
That's
put it that
okay.
way.
I'm happy to pursue whatever
Sure.
the consensus is fine.
Well,
I just
and
want to do something.
one thing, a couple things here that are important. Michelle rolled up her sleeves and did some serious work.
And we appreciate it.
Well, that's
And,
fine, that's fine.
here's the thing too, with the other proposal, I don't have a lot of time that I can throw at this. And yes, the wheels, in a sense, the blueprint of the wheels have been drawn. Harbor Springs has used it. But it is gonna take rolling up sleeves, and I'm limited, so I'll be very honest on that. So, at the end of the day, everybody could be in the same boat I am, still nothing done. So, I think one of the things that I'm saying is we either have to decide collectively we can get this accomplished, or we go back to hiring to have it done.
Well, and it boils down to the money situation.
Here would be my thought, so let's say we'd have done this, we wouldn't have had this information which we gathered, and I went to the council tomorrow night, and the DDA would have came and they'd have said, we're asking for a $12,000 loan. If we went with the cheapest one, $12,000 loan, for a development plan to set up a TIF, and somebody says, have you seen Harbor Springs? I mean, what would you say to that? It's like, there it is. Dude, I'm just being realistic, I thought, man, I'd probably have to get up and walk out of the room.
Well, what is your recommendation?
Corey, look, we look, now that's what I thought, I think we should talk about it. In front of you have what it says has to be in a development plan.
And that's the law itself.
You know, and if you look at it, it's like the second page of this. What they have done, is that's what Harbor Springs has done, they've taken the basics of that and put it on there, and dealt with it, I mean.
So now the one that you call Central Lake was.
That was Harbor Springs,
Yeah.
and we put
Yeah.
that like description, I'm saying,
It's in its entirety.
you've seen the Harbor Springs, right?
Real quick.
And I mean, we don't need to reinvent the
There's a
wheel,
map
let's
that should
take
go
what
with
they've
that.
done.
Option.
And plug in our.
So this and the map is all that is required?
Yeah, well, we need to make some decisions based on that. If you look in there, there's, what do we plan on doing? And they're very general, very vague, and they, you don't wanna pin yourself down to anything. But, what was
Well,
one?
I'd like to just address what Randy spoke of, rolling up the sleeves. It occurred at one time that Michelle, Cory, Kenny and I were gonna be on a task force to work on this. Things sort of fell apart there and people went in their different directions, but now we're regrouping, right? So Michelle's work, praise the Lord for that. She did an awesome job, but I want to say that I'm still going to roll up my sleeves, and I think that I look at this board, there's people on it that why we can't do this ourselves. If we can't, maybe we shouldn't be on this board. We can do it. I really think we can. We've got the paperwork, we've got the professional help from the Northern Lakes people, we have Michelle's backup data. Let's go.
And will we write the $12,000 plan? No. Will we write a plan to get us moving forward and be able to write a TIF to get?
Get the
Yes.
TIF, yeah.
Because I read Harbor Springs, and I literally read it, and I thought, we can do it.
Well, I changed it to Central Lake in about an hour.
Well, here's the thing, if you get all this done and you use them to supplement what we're doing, right? And it's like 5,000, 18,000, for them to go to a few meetings with us.
Yeah, if we need the help.
I don't know why we don't call Northern Lakes.
Well,
they'll
and
come to
she
the
was
meetings for
very
free.
clear to say that whatever we do today, we can amend in
That's
a
what
year
we're
or
saying.
2 years. It's not like we gotta
Yeah, we just need one that abides
build
by.
a,
Is that the
statute
question?
of
We need one that
liberty
abides
today,
by
you
the
know?
state statute
right.
that the council will accept, and then we actually
Right.
pull up a TIF.
It doesn't
plan
have to
and
go
look at that.
anywhere beyond council. The state's not gonna approve it, the feds aren't gonna approve it, only council.
This is their, no, this is, I didn't copy, there's one available. This is the city of Powell. And it's actually very simple.
Another thing is because that,
One of those.
because of all the other
married 20 years, I've been.
action money that's available to us in different ways, like Shorts did, I've got an email to Joe Short just to ask if we can plagiarize some of his stuff.
Right, right.
Right?
The copy is here?
The copy is here.
You have to ask.
Yeah, in
No, I'm saying,
in
yeah.
fact, the guy who came in from the, what do you call it?
Michigan.
Oh,
The MEC.
Yeah, he says there's a pub fund, right, because that's how a lot of towns have rebuilt their towns, is by creating,
Blue Pub, a little
pubs.
something?
let's do it.
And that's,
It's not the blood of the community.
that's what I'm saying, it's something like that.
What's in your pocket?
Something that took
Oh, right now,
90
yeah.
days,
Yeah.
and they got hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I don't know if he paid somebody $20,000, which is the question I'm gonna ask him to find out, right? And, to find out if there's an easier way for us to get money to do certain things in the town, that other than Main Street.
Adventure though.
Because this Main Street thing, like we all looked at, is the longest lead time to do anything or get anything accomplished of all the buckets of money that's available. Is that a fact, Jack?
That's correct.
Okay.
I think we've all talked about that, right? Main Street's a good
That's
program.
where the
it's
big-
basics
big
right now.
junior-
It's basic, essentially, like, just continue to do this
The
training.
basics
and-
of that,
And
they're
they
helping
will
that area.
hopefully pay off in the future. And if we find other ways to fund stuff,
Other
it's great.
different pots of money, then we go after that.
Yeah, I think we do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, will it take?
So I still have questions in for Joe. Joe's supposed to be back to me, which I don't have all the.
Well, so I guess the question really is, are we gonna do it ourselves, or because the funding is not available for from the village council to fund this plan, should we try to do it ourselves? And that's kind of, we've gone full circle, we've gone from doing it ourselves to looking at hiring somebody and back to doing it ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that, we need to be informed when we make a decision.
I would have been first one who said let's pay somebody, and then all the prices started to come together, and then from the conversation, there were people in the community and out on the council, stuff like that, boy, maybe we need to go back to square one, which I apologize for, we did not be first to admit, within that whole circle, I completely changed my mind on what we should do.
So I think it was Ken's fault.
I'll take the blame, I'll say it, I'll completely take the blame, we get right back to where we started, like you said, but I apologize it took that much time to do that.
It's a communication thing. If I had known that you guys were working on this, I would have
We didn't know. We
changed
didn't-
my scope of what I
We
was
didn't
doing.
know.
I didn't know until today.
Today, when did you need to do it? It was basically
Today, I got the email
That's what
today.
Today, it was
That's how
like, wow, let's,
I would have liked to have known that.
Me too. I
Me
don't
too.
like this last
had we
minute stuff.
known a week or two ago, yeah, I mean, we, like I said, we jumped in.
Well, again, her data is not in vain, it can all be used, it hasn't gone to wash, it's still valid, it's still good. Maybe in a year, we're gonna hire McKenna.
I hope it goes that well, we have that kind of.
I still don't want to open the source subject, but when did we actually ask for the village permission? How long ago?
When did we what?
When did we?
I wasn't at the June meeting, I don't know. It might have been April.
Proposals?
No,
Oh,
no, for us, for this thing we just got.
That Michelle, you came up with, this stuff here just came.
You're holding two different documents, he's holding
This
up.
here-
For the Jan email,
that happened today. That happened today.
How-
Your
how-
The Jan
correspondence with
email
Northern
happened
Lights.
today, but that's when I was tasked with, is there somebody that can do it free? And at that time I said no, because my email went to Dan's junk box. He responded, got me in touch with Jan, and it all panned out today.
Yeah, can we do it for free? If we do it. I think that's kind of the answer, right?
Yeah.
And can we do it according to what I've seen
Right.
in Northern Lights?
Right.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we take 30 days and maybe put two people together to see if at the next meeting we can pull together and see exactly what we need to do to get this thing in.
Well, we already have the task force of 4 already, Michelle, Cory, and Ken and I.
I'd like to see, honestly, in 30 days, that we bring it to the council,
Be
that we bring
done.
it to the DDA. I think that can happen in 30. What we want to do, then we have to go through the process of public hearings and everything else. That's gonna.
I think we should have another board meeting maybe to discuss some of the plans that need to occur, you know. The goal, do we want to plant flowers, do we want to do an ice rink? Those things I think are
Well,
important
maybe
to
we should,
have.
that's what I said, maybe right now tonight, we should say some basic
All right.
ice
just
rink,
wait a
open
minute.
space,
Ask the
parking
question.
areas.
but you can change that.
Just wait, so we're looking at the Harbor Springs one, we're gonna kind of copy that. Did they get public input as they did their development
It
plan?
doesn't say, all I have is their plan. And there is, in the law, it does require public input.
It requires a public hearing.
Before, or just one after?
The requirement is a public hearing to approve the plan. What I'm saying, before, in my opinion, you correct me if I'm wrong, before you even go looking for public input, you have to have something in front of you.
Something to give to
Start.
them.
Oh, I thought we meant public input, like what are your perceptions of the downtown? What do you think? What would you like to see? What would you, I thought that public input meant like a general consensus kind of a survey.
I agree, but I think maybe it's better to have, like, say, this is what we as a DEA like. And then you get to have a public hearing and say, and how would you like to change this or add to it? Because in my experience, if you call this public meeting, get without direction, you're gonna be here for 3 hours.
No, I didn't,
You know, so you start with a document, I think,
Okay.
and then be open-minded enough, no, we're gonna change that document.
I thought that part of it was like maybe sending a survey to the, you know, like, and getting data as far as not sitting everybody down and saying, tell us what you want, but like a survey, like, I would like to see more shopping downtown or more parking, or I would like to see more hotel rooms,
I
or, you
can
know.
put a
like-
full-page survey in the very next newspaper. If we could figure out what we
What
want,
do we wanna ask?
just check here if you want this or not want that.
Yeah.
But we gotta have it by like Sunday night.
Turn that at Bachman's.
And I think
Or turn it in at Bachman's, yeah.
I know what we're looking for too, you know, because we're, and I'm just using examples, we're gonna get somebody says, how about a Taco Bell, or what, you know what I mean, so we need to be able to narrow down to,
Well,
you know, we really will, you will get pie in the sky stuff, you will.
I got something against Spanish food.
I'm good with Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is not
No.
Spanish food.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, I like Taco Bell, but we don't want
No, you can't say Mexican.
You're looking at setting up a
Temporary
temporary,
to be realistic.
you're looking at setting up a temporary, so if we have an example here, and we're talking about copying that, why don't we copy that, put together the TIF,
Nice ring.
and then we can revisit this in a year, and we
I still
have.
like the bandstand.
But see,
Within the open.
I think that again, you
In the
come,
open space.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on a second, guys.
Wait, one conversation at a
I think that
time.
when we're working around tax money, that you get more probably support from the community if you get their input before you do, I mean, because then you can say, listen, we conducted a survey of the residents and 72% said that they would like to see something, you know, or 72% think that the town would be a better, you know, better place to live if we had such and such. Because that can inform our decisions as a DDA, because it is the public money that we are using. And, you know, and I think that it's more likely that we would have public support if we had that data to inform our development plan, if we're gonna do our development plan ourselves.
I think that's probably a good idea, but how do you limit it to, you know, when you mail out a survey, you put it in the newspaper, hey, I'm up from Detroit, I think you guys
No,
should,
no,
you know,
no,
do this, this, and
no,
this,
I,
and
no, you
that's-
Well,
don't do that.
hey, you know what, even if they do that, then you're getting
They're
outside
still
input.
using our area.
Yeah.
Or you can send it to the residents that are going to be paying the taxes that support the TIF.
specific with it.
well, I'm just curious, I don't know.
I mean-
Well, I think at this point, any data is good.
Everything we're gonna do is gonna be
Right.
modified.
And Melissa, your stats class, can we do a survey through that or something?
We can do an online survey, we can do a paper survey, we can,
But I do think that, you know, not having a public hearing, but, or a public, you know, meeting, but some sort of survey just to get perceptions, because, you know, perception is reality. And just getting that, and then being able to say, we made these decisions based on this data. Or
CYA.
based on, how many vacant, I mean, there's like a variety of ways that you can have data that help you.
I know where you're coming from, and I agree with you, but I think right now we've been messing around with this thing for 6 months, and we keep jumping into puddle and trying to get out.
I know.
I think it's time to just take their program, put a program together, and then plan in 6 months or 9 months. We'll do
Just say
the-
we're gonna
we'll go out to
revisit and
people,
amend.
ask questions,
Yeah,
we'll
we'll be
modify it to
adjusted.
what we want it to be, but let's get to business before we start selling goods. So let's get this thing done, finished, voted on, and now we can start collecting money. I don't wanna spend the next 6, 9 months with these meetings.
Right.
Let's just ratify whatever it takes to get the thing moving, and know that in 6 months or a year, we'll have more money, we'll revisit each and every area. And that we will do public hearings, and we'll get that, but we'll redo it based on what we get after we're in business, not prior to getting in business.
if the plan only says we're planting flower boxes, we're golden, right? We'll cover that, it's a done deal.
And then we can modify that with a list of 500 things more we wanna do.
Exactly,
But-
exactly, it's the TIF thing is the issue that Jan drilled into my head.
I think we can do it tonight. I could name some things we probably all agree on. We're gonna do the open space, correct? That's financially feasible.
Yep.
I agree, right, the flowers we do, that's probably, I wanna see a development plan anymore, so what do we
I'd like
want
to
it
see
to
the
say?
benches
Open
eventually.
space, we're gonna move some benches uptown
Eventually.
tomorrow night, I'm gonna try to get the council to buy new benches in the park, so we can take those benches, move uptown now, no cost to the DDA. We have benches, one of them's gonna go in front of Cory's, I thought today, maybe tomorrow. We're gonna use some benches we have, they're nice aluminum benches. in place, get the open space done, put some benches in. Yeah, put benches on the development plan. We would like to have benches in the next 5 years at an estimated cost up. We just have to be real sensible when it comes to how we're gonna pay for these things, you know? If Alden Bank truly at some point does give that lot up, as a DDA, we should develop that into, what, a couple public restrooms and parking? That could be in the development plan. I think we can put that together pretty easy with no big cost.
And that, we
And
could
let
do
the
like Tom
community
says,
know
in
that
30
this
days,
is-
we can do it on
this
the
is a
email
start,
or
you know,
chit-chatting,
like-
so when we come back in a month,
You know?
It's
Well, in
over.
the next 30 days, you put this
Then it
together,
could be
shoot it to
adjusted
Jan, and
later.
have her look at it.
yep,
Jan is probably one of the sharp, speak wide now,
Yeah,
so
she is.
she is.
And if she looked at it and said, yeah, you got a basis to start from, you go from
Right.
there.
right.
When we're in business.
So let's make a motion.
So, do we want to sit down tonight and try to figure out what issues we want to address?
No, let's put the group together, let them put it together. You said there, well, we disbanded all the groups, that we
Well, I don't think we ever disbanded the task force, we just never met again and followed through with anything per se.
Brandon, you have a question? Yeah, Tom, I think we just need the one, you said it in a good way. Let's just, one thing, like, we're not in business yet, you gotta have the building. So I think this committee just on getting this part done, then we can build off of that.
It doesn't cost the same.
So you wanna use the committee we had originally set up to do this, to do that?
If all those volunteers are willing to come back together.
Who was it? Let's find out if they're.
Here's what Harbor Springs, this time, that's how basic I think it can get. The existing improvements to be demonstrated, all of them. Their answer was, the DDA will consider an improvement plan that may replace some areas of the downtown with facilities and improvements to better promote and enhance the use of space by the public, period.
Yeah.
Location, extent, character. The DDA, as requested by the village council, will work with the community to improve its downtown. This will be an open, community-engaged process that will have as its premise a focus on the needs of the entire Central Lake community. The DDA's design committee will lead this effort, which is anticipated first quarter of 2015. Cost and completion schedules to be determined by the community. That's what I'm saying, and I think Missy saw the same thing. We'd be pretty basic, no, they're gonna be involved.
Can
We're
we,
just dotting i's and crossing t's and.
well,
What you're doing is you're creating an outline, all right, and there's no money attached to it.
And there's no
And the
pretty
tip
specifics.
tells how we plan on doing it.
generic and gray.
Which will.
Well, and see how Harbor Springs handled that was they did this plan that was very simple, then they got a vision plan, a vision, you know, the downtown vision. And so and that's their actual working document that shows, well, this building's worth $300,000 and with this, we added a percentage increase and you know, whatever the details are.
Who did they hire for their visioning process?
Wade
Yeah,
Trim.
And I'll bet you that
But they're
very expensive. That was probably the $20,000.
That was the group that didn't even want to respond to us, right?
What's that?
That was the group that didn't even respond to us?
We tried, yeah. Now, that was their reasoning, I'm sure, like, I got the same impression, Michelle, that they just didn't wanna, they love big projects.
Right, and I was just down in Brighton 2 weeks ago, Brighton, Michigan, which would be kind of a community similar to Harbor Springs or Petoskey. So they're gonna target, you know, and they did the same thing as far as downtown. We're not in that county, so.
So what do you want to do now? What would you suggest? Do we want to put together a group in 30 days, have something?
Like as you said, we had the group in place, it was what you.
Let's
me,
put the four back on task and say that next month we'll come
Bring
forth
us a
with a thing
proposal.
ready and
Finish
bam.
development plan,
done.
bring it proposed, if the DDA accepts it, we take it to the council after that. Because this doesn't have to happen in 30 days, we have.
But
some
it could, we
months
could
to
have,
work.
it could in theory happen in 30 days, and then we'd
Oh, I
have the
think we
public
could-
hearing, and then in
exactly.
60 days, it's
It's all a
over.
matter of time.
It's over.
You know, it comes here, you approve, then we have to wait for the council meeting, they approve it. After a public hearing, which takes time because of the
Right.
publications and,
Right,
I mean, that's what takes the time. But still, if it takes 3 months.
90 days is
You
great.
want a
After a
motion
year
or
of doing
something?
nothing.
Yes.
Start this?
Okay, so does it still, do we have Cory, Michelle,
I think we should
and
make it, we should do it,
Missy?
put it on the record.
Same?
Yeah, oh,
Are all
Okay.
four of the volunteers still willing to do it? I think we need to start with that first.
Yeah.
alright,
Ask each one of them, please.
I will.
Ken's
I'm
willing,
game.
Michelle's will, or Melissa's willing? Michelle?
Michelle, do you still want to do it?
Of course, I committed to it at the beginning, I'm definitely,
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
I'll do
you.
And
it.
who's the fourth person?
Me.
Cory.
but please, don't meet without us. I mean, can we?
All four.
Please, all four of us meet, please.
Now I think a motion needs to be made, knowing that we have the 4 volunteers.
Well, Tom already has a motion for 2 people to come back and put it
I'll
in.
make it 4 people.
Just change it to
Okay,
4.
so
I support
Come
that.
back on 30 days with a finished product for us to look at and vote on. Yeah.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
30 days. We'll have
What is it?
a
Finished
plan.
product?
That's DDA and TIF
Finished
plan.
product for us to look
DDA,
at.
DDA,
DDA and TIF.
Okay, now, just so I know, I guess. Is that gonna be after approval by Jan or whomever at,
It'll have to be.
Jan is gonna be a part of it at some,
Okay.
when we come to council, or the DDA again, it's gonna be, here it is.
Proposed
Okay.
plan.
Here it
so
is.
everything that you came up with, it's already been cleared by her, all the Ts are crossed and Is are dotted, and then it comes to the council for final approval here, to go to the village council for their approval and.
Public
Now,
hearing,
now,
Public hearing.
Brian, do we
It
publish,
has to be
do we
reviewed
publish that
By Brian.
to the
Okay.
do you publish that to the public?
Last before it goes to the village.
Bathroom,
After
there's
before it
two
gets to
goes
the
to there, or over
Do we
there.
what? We,
Okay, so Tom motioned it, who seconded?
I did.
Missy?
the DDA accepts it. That this is my thought. The public will see it in the public hearing. There has to be a public hearing.
Yeah.
Hearing. So we gotta start somewhere.
Okay.
I think it's a
Yeah.
permanent way to go.
Now, he's got another win.
Yeah, let's finish this. I agree. 30 days, we'll have a plan going.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion in regards to the downtown development plan? All right, moving on. Treasurer, or appointment to the, board. New appointment to the board. I don't know if we want to discuss this now, or if this is something we'll put off in another meeting. It's-
Well, we should discuss the treasurer, who's doing that now? Because of the deal with the flowers and Kelly loaning her money, I think we need to handle that today.
That'd be fine. Do we have a volunteer that wants to be the treasurer?
I'll volunteer to be treasurer.
Thank you,
Good
Randy.
job, Randy.
He'll pay the flyer bill.
Right on.
I can't pay.
There's another invoice that just came in today.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's in your email.
So I will make a motion to appoint Randy Weiss as treasurer.
I'll
of the
second
DDA.
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded?
Cory.
Any opposed? No.
It wasn't Cory that seconded?
No, I second it.
So then the.
So is
line-
Brian the secretary or Lisa? Are they just backing each other up here, or?
Yes, it was suggested by Mr. Fudgy that I should back him up for the first couple of months until he gets it right.
That way you got 2 people taking notes and he'll be touched one.
I think next month there'll be 3 people.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Secretary, can I say this? We have to abide by open meetings act, so minutes have to be done.
5 days.
Published. I think it's 8, time around 5 after we approve.
Meetings
I think
posted
the proposed minutes after this meeting
publicly,
is 8
all
days,
of
check the
that.
Open Meetings Act, I think it's 8 this time, after next month, when they're truly approved, it's 5 days.
So
I think it's
technically,
important
we're violating it.
that we abide by the Open Meetings Act.
I don't remember if I've been signing it already, I've been signing on the Cory.
And our bylaws don't require being published, do I?
So it's your fault.
It might be.
There was the
That would be
invoice.
one.
I don't
It
remember.
would, but I just think we need to talk about that. Are we publishing
don't have
it in
it.
the paper?
Right?
I don't think we were. That's not something we talked about. We were posting on the website.
Are we ever gonna create our own website or a link to?
That's
a
another-
website?
First, let's talk about are we gonna publish the minutes?
Well, that would be a place that we could publish our own.
In the paper is what I'm
minutes,
saying.
and
Are we gonna-
I think you should.
I got
All right.
I think you should, because
In
then,
the paper?
then we can complain to the.
Missy, otherwise, Missy, what do you
Missy?
think?
What?
Publish in the paper?
The minutes.
You want me to put the minutes in the
No, I want
paper?
your opinion.
Should we?
Yes,
Should we?
Should we?
The minutes?
Yes.
No.
The village does. The village publishes minutes in the paper,
In the interim review.
in the interview.
Why not? Then people
I-
can't say,
What
then
was
people
cost?
can't say that they haven't had an opportunity to see them.
I know,
I would be happy to put it in the paper. If you can get, I mean, if you can get them to me timely, I'll put them in mine.
Is there a cost to put them in the interim?
I will make no cost.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
interim
there's a
review,
cost.
yeah, there's a cost.
Is there?
Yeah.
Even though it's a.
I'll charge half of what they do.
Well, we don't have a budget. Well,
They do
it's
it
not
for
really
free, so-
It's not an advertising.
but, I guess the question is, are we gonna publish it or not?
Nancy said she'll
Apart
publish them in the.
Why not?
Right now,
Are they,
We're gonna publish them in a
if we at least
newspaper
get them
of general
online, for
circulation.
God's sakes.
Are they not on our
They're on the
DDA
website.
website?
The website.
I don't.
But that's not
Everybody
current
wants
right
to know
now.
They're on the DDA website.
It's not
I-
current
I-
right now.
Well, maybe somebody will go and use the DDA website.
Well, ask the public.
Well, we have the village website,
website-
which should
would the website be
inform
fine?
the DDA and everything
It is
should be
there.
current.
And there's no cost to
Period.
that for us.
Let's save the taxpayers money and just do it on the website.
Okay.
Could I suggest you make them a little more detailed than what's on there? Because if it's just one line, we know you've already
Right.
talked about something, but you don't know any of the context. I know
So you
can't
want more
do
like
the whole
a
thing,
synopsis of the meeting.
But,
Well, I think
Summary.
that, you know, as we get people that do it in a longer time, it will get better. It just,
It's new.
we've had.
Well, you have
people
some
in
people will
7,
write
8
5
months.
pages and some will write
Yeah.
1.
Now, the
I
DDA,
think a lot of
my
it
correct,
goes
Mr.
to
Kruse,
shorter.
does not have a website, they are a page on the village.
We do not have a website, but that could be something that could be addressed with a
Okay,
DDA
so it's
plan.
another talk to have sometime, maybe does the DDA
That's a
work
great
out
idea.
entirely
Or
separate
that
website?
plan.
Part of that plan.
All right.
I think we should.
Okay,
Okay.
that's why we sure I was clear on that.
All right, on to the next thing.
So I'll get them to Rachel.
Did that clear that up?
Yeah, you send, I guess you send them to Rachel, like I said, I was sending them to Cory.
And
Yeah, just
Randy
long as
should
she's got
probably
them in
know-
the-
Well, and whoever's sending them to Rachel needs to double check and confirm that they are indeed posted. Don't just send them off and go, oh, I guess they're there, and they're not, because then we look like idiots.
Which,
We don't need that.
let's keep moving.
Okay.
Wait, one second. So when Randy gets an invoice, so if there's an invoice, we give it to Randy, the treasurer. Randy, the treasurer, what does Randy, the treasurer do to be sure that the invoice gets paid?
He pays it.
I would like, one thing I would like to add to that
There needs to be
is
a
I would like to
procedure,
have
just
somebody
like
on
any
the board
other.
as a second signature on the check.
I don't think you have to worry
He's
about
not gonna
that.
write the check, he's just gonna have Rachel write the check, but he needs to cover his,
But we
Okay,
don't know that. I mean,
'cause I don't
we
wanna-
be
We don't
sure.
write checks.
I don't wanna write it.
As of right now.
I want some safety.
Later,
Okay.
but as of right now, everything comes from Rachel, because we're still using the.
Okay, make sure that, I don't know why we would duplicate that, once again, they're small
Because
buildings.
I don't want any, too many of these people that are, what is it, where they?
Basically, right now, you're just keeping the books.
Embezzlers.
Yes, thank you.
You just be keeping track and briefing back to the.
You realize we're so broke, we're gonna miss $1.50.
Yeah. Boy, it's all over that, but that's.
I know.
Hey, guys.
Still, oh yeah, let's bring it
Joe's
back.
got a comment.
Can I say something? I think it would probably be a very good idea if you have at least 2 or 3 initials of different people from the board on every bill before it goes to Rachel. That way, nobody can, invoices, whatever you have, that way nobody can say, well, Randy proved it, his initials are there, and there's no
Nobody
mention
else
of the
ever saw
board. It should be in triplicate. As a council, 3 of us sign bills every time the bills are done, we all initial
Yeah,
them
but
to
we're
show
not
that we have all
signing,
looked at
we're
it.
not,
We're not actually.
So we
paying
are
it.
sending it up. for
But you were
payment,
sending
which
it
is
to
the
us.
same
Well, it's the
thing.
same thing, it's like sending minutes to
We are
Rachel,
sending
we
it
never
for
know
payment,
she's
they're
got
gonna pay
it.
it off that.
I just think it's wise that more than just one person.
Randy, I'd be happy to co-sign with you all.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, so,
Just an initial on
I
it.
agree.
It's just, pretty
Okay.
simple.
No, I do agree.
So we
Okay,
two
so-
people signing off adequate.
Well, make a
That would be
motion,
just- it's
somebody,
Accountability.
so this is
It's
the
really not-
minutes officially.
Okay.
I'm making a motion that we have 2 people sign an invoice when it goes to the treasurer.
Hold on a second.
Okay, this is motioning.
Second.
second 2 people is good enough.
Just for Tom to do it, or just to have a second signature?
A second signature.
Two's
Before
fine,
it goes
because they
to the
gotta have proof
treasurer.
to actually get the check.
Because if Tom's not here, anybody could step in, right? I mean, if he's on,
I'm fine.
Right.
whatever.
Yep, I
Just another set of eyes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was my one good thing I did, I gotta go. See you guys.
And Tom volunteered to be the.
Secondary.
Yeah, he volunteered for right now to be that second.
Okay, and then we also have the one more board member that we have one more board position that could be filled.
And we were kind of dragging our feet because we were hoping to get some experience in.
Yeah, we're hoping for some experience and
I think a warm body would be a nice thing.
Oh.
Not for me personally, but to be on the board.
I'm glad you clarified.
thank you.
Personal thing, cold body.
I'd like to see somebody with some experience in some of the areas that we now know about. You know, it'd be kind of nice to have somebody that's got some, accounting background or some,
I think some writing skills.
Yeah, somebody that might be able to help us apply for grants, somebody that might be able to do,
How many volunteers do we have?
yeah.
Well, why don't I put an ad in the next paper, open seat? See what happens,
Why don't
you know?
Yeah, I second the motion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Done.
Very good, thank you.
Everybody in favor?
Is that a suggestion or is it a motion?
I'm just a letter of interest, send a letter of interest like we've done with it, when Kelly came in, when Chris came in, letter of interest.
I think you make-
Show up
I
next
think you make a
meeting.
motion.
Well, I
Tell
just
us about
don't-
yourself.
well, I agree we should, but I don't wanna just throw it out there, I'd like to say, somebody, looking for somebody with some experience in some of these areas, maybe grant writing, or trying to get some expertise on the board, so not just throw it out there as a blanket invitation, so.
So you can put that in there in the
Yeah,
request,
see who shows
you have
up.
to have certain experience or
Well,
qualifications.
we're looking for, we're not required, but,
Yeah, just put that in the request.
yeah, put that in the request. And so that way we might be able to get some
Think we
talent
need
on
to
the
just-
board.
Well, pick someone with time, that would be
Yeah.
nice.
The township has a blank seat open, they're not saying, please apply if you have accounting skills.
Well,
They're
if
saying,
looking for
please send a
treasurer,
letter of
they would
interest,
be.
we can't limit it to people with a certain experience, you gotta let everyone write a letter.
When you say whether you can be on the board.
Right, okay,
But
that's
we
fine.
as a board can go out and find people and ask if they'd be interested, and that's the way you kind of approach that.
Okay, we can do that
We
too.
do have a board of people that wanna be here, not just because, they're skilled at something.
Well, that's true.
Every last one of us wanna be here because we love our town.
We're not skilled at something.
Yeah, well, we're trying.
We all got straight time.
We're a little more skilled than we were 3 months ago.
Okay, move it.
All right.
Okay, hey, before we move on to public comment, next month, could we bring in amendment budget to the DDA? Just to stay within guidelines, and even if it just is flowers, let's call that, I can't think of her name, and say, how much do you think this is gonna be by the end of the season? We need to amend it, let's just do it, let's move the money from somewhere to there, and amend it.
Let's,
Amended budget.
well, budget, you have the treasurer, the
You
treasurer.
understand, let's just do it and stay.
How often does it need to be done?
Anytime you exceed the amount, you cannot,
Any monies at all?
legally, you cannot, according to the statute, I don't know what legally are, you do not go over the budget.
Maybe that would be a good task for Randy's first time to determine what we've spent, what we still have left, and
Yeah, right now it's pretty simple,
Well,
it's like,
no,
what do we
I
think
think
we're gonna
that
spend
I
on
make that-
flowers, and let's add that much to it.
I got the,
my concern is.
Yeah, well,
let me take it
I'll
on.
invoice and stuff, and I'll email it to you.
Make the movement, move it that way.
Error on the email, Cory, you know that.
I'll print it out for you. Email
Yeah.
drop it.
Can I do this?
Practice.
Can I make a,
Ken, go ahead.
can I make a motion that we move $500 from advertising to downtown flowers?
I'll second that.
Say again, what just
Move
happened?
$500 from advertising to downtown flowers.
To move
Or would you rather take
500.
500 somewhere else? Let's right now just make an amendment, increase the flower amount by $500.
Proceed.
Are we still moving it from someplace else?
Well, yeah, that's why,
Where
it's
else?
where we want to.
Where else can we move it
I don't
from?
know. Let's
We
just-
don't have any advertising to do, take it from there.
Well, I was just I just looked at it, so I haven't read it as I said. Let's take it from the development of the open space, but then that problem is beyond us, we've amended the budget, we pass it to council tomorrow night.
We'll just move it next time.
If we can amend it, that's what I'm saying.
Let's, go ahead, you made a motion.
I make a
to-
motion that we move $500 from the advertising budget to the downtown flower area.
Do we have support?
Yeah,
Martin?
Doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah.
my turn.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, I will get
As
that.
long as you don't vote
Take
against it.
that to the council.
Yeah, the poor girl couldn't get her.
And the other one thing I'd like to talk about, I know it's getting late, is, Michelle, I talked to Brian Graham today about the lease, I'll talk to you about that after,
Okay.
just a little bit of information we need.
Okay.
Let's decide as a DDA, what are we gonna do and what are we gonna do? Let's get it done. I mean, our thought was, my thought, and I think Tom and Cory talked to Michelle, we talked about the lease. Let's take the fence, let's move it far back, let's put a new fence up, let's paint that, let's do something, let's clean it up and let's put sod down. At least we have a nice open space, right now, minimal cost. Then we can talk about other ideas to do within it, get the stage, we'll move on, but for now, we've showed the town we're doing something, you know? And
Clear the
the more
lawns.
volunteer help we can get, the better, because we're gonna need people to help do it. I don't know, we're finding by the
Between the
time we'll do it now.
That will
Melissa, we need to also put in, the paper there when you're talking about looking for volunteer help.
If we could get some volunteer help to move stuff down there.
I know. you
Somebody's got to spearhead the project.
We have a list of the kids from the high school. I have like 6 kids. Isaac Mortensen, a couple other kids that might be able to help with the labor.
Who would like, who from here? I mean, I honestly do not have time.
I can watch it, I'm right next door.
But do we have somebody who's
I
gonna
can.
take on that project and say, I'll work with volunteers, we'll make sure we get it done?
Oh, you raise your hand?
No, I think
Cory
there
just
has
said
to be a physical.
Watch when you put your hand up.
I wanna say that we do need to physically have an adult.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Cory's right next door.
I think we have a volunteer with a pink shirt on over there.
Too many hands.
See that one with the pink shirt?
Honey, I just took on 2 things already today.
No, you could volunteer your wife for it.
Cause I'd like to see that get done.
Oh, where you going now?
I would-
Properly.
I wouldn't have a problem
doing
doing it, my work schedule is my problem.
You know, I can watch it, but I can't really do it well, I'm so busy right now, I'm in and out. I'm right next
When-
door.
Well, I
would
think
this
we need
need
a
to
list
happen?
saying what needs to be done before we go ask for volunteers. We gotta dig it out, move the rocks out, move the brush, move the fence.
Next Wednesday afternoon.
And then it would be easier to get a volunteer. If we just say, hey, go clean this area up, they're gonna go, what? But if you say, okay, from 10 to 12, you're gonna be here for 2 hours digging holes.
We're gonna take fence down, move it, we're taking down through, that's what, yeah, exactly, get volunteers, take
When are we
fence down,
doing this?
move the rocks out.
When are we doing this?
Couple letters.
ASAP, in my opinion.
Okay. This a week, we got a week to do it?
Yeah.
If it can happen, I
When's
would
your
love to see
paper come
that.
out?
Next week,
Okay.
it won't occur before
I'll
the
volunteer to do it. I'll spearhead it if.
I'll help you.
And we get some volunteers, Trudy,
Yeah,
Carrie,
well, it
said she
is,
might
put
know
it in
some
the
people that
paper.
volunteer, let's get the community involved.
I don't mind-
clean it
I
up.
don't
I don't think we even gotta put it in the paper. I think we can put it all over Facebook and some flyers around town and call people.
Are we good with that? I mean, that's just my
I'm good with
call.
that.
Let's do that, let's move the
As
fence,
long as there's
clean
an
it up and
adult
put
watching
sod
them, I
down.
don't see
Sod's
any
not
reason why
expensive,
we
it's
can't do
done.
that.
That fence you're removing, right?
I think we should
That
do that.
fence you're removing.
I,
Do it.
if
Or
we're,
we just temporarily.
okay, no, I
So,
think that's
Chris,
what
you're
we're
gonna
gonna
have
do.
Well, here's questions. Where are we gonna get the tools? Where are we gonna get the
I
supplies? You got
got a
everything?
golf course.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Alright.
Oh, I guess there's a second question.
I had
Do you
some,
want to move fence?
I had some
I mean,
intentions
how bad
too.
is
I
shape
had
is
all
that
kinds of.
fence in?
We have the budget set aside for improvements for that, so we can just go ahead and.
I can find some
Well,
volunteers.
we need to decide as a board, I think, that we want a new fence back there.
There has to be a new fence back there, that old one won't hold out.
You know how
I
to
don't,
get
yeah, I
together.
don't think it could be moved.
Oh, well, that's.
As soon as you start shaking
It
it.
would.
Is the fence toast? Does it need to be thrown away, just gotten rid
It's
of?
pretty dilapidated.
So we can't use it for any other thing, so just pitch it.
Taking 20 feet.
Well, no, really.
Probably coming down, it'll probably come apart.
It's been there a long time.
It's okay staying, but I think when we start moving it,
Yeah,
it's
just
gonna
touch it. Just look at it.
I think what I'll do is go down to Walmart, go buy, 4x4 and get the privacy fence put across the back and be done with it.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear back on the price of sod? I know sod's
I did
not a lot
not.
of money.
It's between-
1,500 square feet or something, and the village has black dirt, which we can get the DPW to bring down so we can level it off.
It's good dirt.
Get sod there, roll it out, and show improvement fast is all I'm thinking.
Who's the sod company in the area?
I called Pine
Pine
Hill,
Hill's
they were gonna
the one I
fax me
know of.
something, but they never did, I don't know if they wrote down the fax number wrong.
I
or
got
what.
it, I bought a bunch of sod lately.
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
sod
okay,
dude.
yeah, here we go.
He's got a golf course.
Is this gonna be golf, all this stuff? Bull
It's gonna be Kentucky bluegrass.
You wouldn't have trouble with
Patches
17
missing
holes.
all over the place.
Alright. Show people we.
I had
The wall.
I had a nursery.
Wrap it up.
Railing that are.
Now get some-
Let's bring it back around, guys.
I'll take care of it.
Alright,
Make a mold, Corbett, and
I'll take care of it.
Chris is gonna take care
You're
of
gonna
it.
take some time.
So what exactly?
Alright, thank you,
Alright,
Chris.
next.
For managing it,
Kind
I
of
appreciate it.
volunteers to do the
to
work.
get the area cleaned up. Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna move on to public comment.
Well, that's what, look,
I asked,
are we
I
removing
just
the
got one
ivy from the
comment.
buildings, or are we gonna promote the ivy to grow to cover the walls of the building?
I talked to Tom Lane again, they are gonna, as far as the board, you talked to everyone on the board, just like I said last time, they're gonna take, the deal is they're taking 10 feet off for extra parking when the bank expands in the year 2045.
Pretty optimistic. That's an optimism.
So they're gonna donate the land. I was gonna try and buy it for them, donate it back to the town, and then what we're gonna do is, they won't donate it, cause that way they can write it off for taxes. As long as you guys give them something to write off, of some value that is nice.
Well, we'll put a value on it.
Look at this.
Cause then we all bank and write it off, and,
And that's on that empty lot next door.
Yeah, see, that's.
yeah, when they burnt that house
That should be in the
down,
plan.
I'd love to see
And then
one of the building transactions.
that's something we can develop later, but it'll be, the property of Sims Lake.
Well, that's very nice.
For nothing.
Parking.
All right, let's keep on moving, guys. We're
Well,
on to-
let's, just so we don't go in there and do something we don't want to, let's talk about the ivy on the wall.
I think the ivy on the wall.
I think it's pretty.
I'm afraid if you take it down, you're
It's
gonna.
gonna
Right now, just.
Leave the ivy.
At some point, maybe promote the both of them. Give it-
I think
Just
it's
leave it.
like, yeah.
That's what I'm
Just
saying.
leave it.
I just
Just
didn't
leave
want
it.
somebody to go in here and say, oh yeah, we took all the ivy off. They, oh no.
Just leave it.
Don't touch the ivy on the wall.
Yes, and if,
Leave it.
and
Don't
if it
touch
does
it.
come down, I wanna do something else in its place, some kind of a mural,
For
something
now,
that does
for now.
something.
Leave it.
Save
All we
the
care
ivy.
about is
Save
the
the ivy.
dirt
Save the ivy.
on the ground.
All right, let's move on.
That guy.
All right, we're on to public comment. Is there any public comment?
I just have a question. The volunteers that you're gonna have do the stage area and that open space area, especially because they're teenagers, if they get hurt, how are they covered?
Well, they may not all
DDA
be
operates under the village,
volunteers.
so
It could be, I mean,
any
kids, it could be
DDA
adults.
sponsored event.
It could be,
We drag them off the property, we throw them down.
Throw them on the ground, tie cement block to their leg, throw them in the leg.
All right, and, is that it? Guys,
Ken made a comment that I wanted a clarification on, the money that was given to the DDA, that's a loan, you said?
No.
Oh, you said, you used the word loan.
That was it.
They were gonna ask for a loan for a development plan, the way I
Oh,
understand
in addition to the
it.
money.
In addition to that, what has happened is, the village has set aside in the DDA fund $20,000 to work with that.
Right.
The DDA has been given an $8,000
Yeah.
budget like we outlined.
Yep.
Yes. And out of that, they've spent $1,200.
If we were gonna have a DDA or a plan created by a company, we were gonna have to borrow money from the village council to pay for at least part of it.
But now we're,
But that's been scratched, so it's no more an issue.
okay.
all right.
Yeah, after the meeting, we can kind of update you what's gone on for the last 9 months and kind of tell you, because it's kind of gone back and forth, and we had ideas and plans to do things, and then they got squashed because we didn't have money, because we thought we'd have to spend it here, and then we said, well, maybe we can get them to do that, and so it's kind of gone back and forth and up and down, and
Yeah, well, I read in the minutes how things were proposed, so much would happen because of various reasons.
right.
And a lot of it, we didn't really commit to anything, we just some
Right.
ideas.
Well, I can see the committee is struggling for some clarity and they're brand new and they're trying to get things.
Yeah, that
organized.
takes time.
I understand that. But I like Ken's idea of having something downtown
Yeah.
quickly, like the open space. But I would suggest in your advertising budget, you might put a little sign there saying brought to you by your DDA or something.
Boy,
So people
Oh,
know.
that's a
A
good
little
idea.
plaque or
Yeah.
something put on
Yeah,
the
we really,
side.
We want to.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
spending their money wisely.
And then you
That's
go
what
to the
they're
next
doing, we're
project
spending.
after that.
coming soon.
And banners and
Yeah,
Alright, is that it?
Across the.
Across the ivy.
All right, is there any other public comment?
Corbett's gonna make the sign, right?
All right, we're-
Huh?
You're making the sign?
He's got
Coming
all-
soon,
public
beautiful
comments
open
closed.
space courtesy of your DDA.
Who's gonna do the sign for the skate rink?
All right,
You.
we're on to board comments.
I have a comment.
Michelle has a comment.
There's an update,
I got a Bambini sitting in my shed that I want.
Mishta's gonna be sending their construction person to look for, the rental reclamation program that we talked about above the store. And they hope that you can be
I
there.
got that email, so when we pick a date.
Okay.
Yeah, when's that happening, in the next month or two?
Then, I believe that he'll be in town the next couple of weeks, we're gonna try to work something.
The month of August, I'm probably gonna be out of town,
So we'll
about
say,
the entire month,
alright, so we'll say before August, okay.
so yeah.
Okay, and also I'm looking at the, restoration project to, make the Mission Computers building and my building to restore it to the way it looked when it was built in 1880 something.
Oh, wow.
So, but these
That'd be
things
really
of course take time and lots of paperwork. So, and somebody, you know, who personally has absolutely no money whatsoever. I'm jumping through a lot of hoops to try to get this accomplished, to make the downtown look better.
Is there anything we can do to help?
Oh, I'll let you know along the way. I just wanted to give you an update though, that that's still in the works, and that's because of Dan and his presentation in May, I believe it was.
Yeah, that was
Thank
cool.
Lord he was here, because
awesome.
it's coming along.
Beautiful.
Does anybody know exactly what Shorts got for their whole thing?
For their what?
Say they got, how much money they got? Does anybody know?
No.
It was a couple $100,000.
Yeah, I thought it was like
For their
250.
event?
No.
No, for his
For their
expansion.
The
expansion?
facade of the,
Wasn't it 250? 250?
Was it?
I think so.
I don't know. That's
In
what-
Bel Air?
Okay, can I just say something? It's easy to go away with, again, this paper.
Maybe not for the Bel Air.
So basically, he has a question, but we don't have an answer,
Yeah.
Correct.
okay?
All right, any other board comments?
Thank you, everyone. Good job
We're gonna shut
tonight.
this thing so we can turn off the thing and talk about it.
Chairman comment.
Chairman comments, I think we've commented enough tonight.
That's a good comment.
Let's move on. I'm looking forward to getting this DDA plan finished. And then I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
All right.
Seven, 3.
he was second.